Selamat sejahtera dan selamat berjumpa lagi dalam satu program seminar online yang dianjurkan oleh Malaysian Corruption Watch pada hari ini. So, terlebih dahulu saya ingin merakamkan ribuan terima kasih kepada Malaysian Corruption Watch dan juga Institute Integrity Malaysia IIM kerana dengan berjayanya menganjurkan program seminar untuk ahli-ahli MCW pada hari ini. Baik, pada hari ini saya akan berkongsikan 20 kisah menarik berkenaan integriti. Ya. Baik, sebelum kita lanjutkan dalam perkara ini, saya ingin memberi sedikit sebanyak apakah objektif mengadakan satu seminar seperti ini yang berkenaan dengan integriti. Ya, ini adalah khususnya untuk peserta-peserta MCW apabila mereka telah lulus seminar ini, mereka bolehlah dilantik sebagai key communicator ataupun penceramah. Itulah satu-satunya kebaikan setelah melalui semua modul-modul dengan baiknya. Jadi mereka bolehlah menjadi key communicator mewakili Malaysian Corruption Watch. Baik. Di sini kita akan kongsikan saya akan kongsikan 20 kisah yang menarik. Saya akan bawa anda ke negara Rom, ke negara China, ke negara India dan juga ke negara-negara Arab kerana banyak kisah-kisah yang saya akan ceritakan ini adalah berkenaan dengan negara-negara tersebut di mana banyak kita akan mempelajari tentang aspek integriti. Baik, sebelum saya memulakan ceramah saya, ingin saya memperkenalkan diri saya. Nama saya GP Doraisamy, saya berasal dari negeri Pulau Pinang. Ya, saya telah bersekolah di Kepala Batas, di Seberang Perai dan telah berkhidmat sebagai seorang guru, guru bahasa Inggeris lebih kurang 7 tahun dengan kerajaan Malaysia. Lepas tu saya letak jawatan sebagai guru dan terus pergi ke London, ke United Kingdom untuk melanjutkan pelajaran saya dalam bidang undang-undang. Jadi setelah lebih kurang 4 tahun di London, saya kembali ke tanah negara untuk menjadi seorang peguam. Jadi sambil itu saya juga telah melanjutkan pelajaran ke Universiti Islam Antarabangsa di Kuala Lumpur dan telah lulus dalam undang-undang syariah dari Universiti Islam Antarabangsa Malaysia. Jadi saya telah bekerja sebagai peguam selama lebih kurang 25 tahun di Malaysia. Sekarang saya telah masuk dalam bidang pembelajaran ataupun pendidikan di peringkat antarabangsa. Saya ada pejabat di Zurich, Switzerland dan di beberapa negara di Asia dan juga di Eropah. Dan telah memasuki dalam bidang korporat pada hari ini dan banyak berkecimpung dalam pergerakan-pergerakan NGO di Malaysia, di Asia Tenggara dan juga di sebelah Eropah. Baik. Apa tu integriti? Ya, integriti adalah kejujuran dan prinsip moral yang kita pegang. Kita harus mengadakan moral values. Jadi ini terpaksa nilai-nilai moral ini mesti berkonsistensi, ya, mesti konsistensi. Ini mencerminkan tingkah laku seseorang itu. Apabila saya kata tingkah laku, bermakna baik dari segi perkataan ataupun perbuatan. Itulah tingkah laku. Baik. Kita tengok kisah nombor 1. Di antara 20 kisah saya akan ceritakan. Kisah nombor 1. Ini integriti diri sendiri. Ini saya telah membuat satu situasi. Katakanlah anda membawa kereta anda pada awal-awal pagi pukul 2. Dan apabila sampai ke satu persimpangan, lampu isyarat itu lampu menyala merah. Masa itu tidak lagi kenderaan, tak ada kenderaan lain. Cuma anda saja di lampu isyarat merah itu. Soalan sekarang ialah sama ada anda akan melintasi jalan itu walaupun lampu merah, ataupun anda akan tunggu untuk lampu itu bertukar sampai jadi hijau, baru anda akan melintasi jalan itu. Walaupun tak ada kereta pada pukul 2 pagi. Jadi, inilah integriti sendiri. Kalau anda menunggu supaya lampu itu menukar dari merah jadi hijau dan baru berjalan, itulah satu integriti yang kita pegang diri sendiri. Jadi, dari segi perbuatan kita sendiri, integriti. We must have integrity for ourselves. It doesn't matter 2 a.m. or 5 a.m. or 1 p.m. Doesn't matter. We have to follow the rules, the regulations. We must follow the law. So that is what we call as integrity. So this is kisah nombor 1. Baik. Kisah yang kedua. Ini satu cerita juga, kisah yang berkaitan dengan satu general, retired general, Cincinnatus. This is a historical figure. Ini berlaku di negara Rome, di Roma. Jadi pemerintah Cincinnatus ini ialah seorang yang diktator. Diktator. Tetapi negara itu masa itu negara berhuru-hara. Mereka berhendakkan seorang ketua ataupun seorang leader untuk menjalankan, untuk memerintah negara itu dengan adil. Walaupun beliau ini seorang diktator, tetapi pemimpin ini dia mengambil kuasa dia memerintah negara itu selama 6 bulan. Kuasa yang diberi beliau ialah untuk 6 bulan. Jadi apabila beliau memerintah dengan baik selama 6 bulan, beliau seterusnya mengembalikan kuasa mereka kepada rakyat. Rakyat yang berikan kuasa kepada ketua. Jadi selama 6 bulan, beliau telah memerintah dengan baik. Dan setelah 6 bulan, beliau telah mengembalikan kuasa kepada rakyat. Inilah kita kata integriti. Baik, menurut filosofer Machiavelli berkata, sifat sedemikian adalah ciri yang mulia. Beliau tidak haloba untuk mengekalkan kuasa. Jadi inilah satu-satu cirinya integriti. Kita tidak memegang kuasa untuk selama-lamanya. Kita hanya kuasa diberi untuk 6 bulan dan selepas itu beliau telah kembalikan kuasa itu kepada rakyat. Seterusnya, kisah yang ketiga. Ini saya nak bawa ke tamadun Islam. Banyak kita telah mempelajari dari tamadun Islam. Kalau kita kaji Al-Quran, hampir 1,500 ayat ataupun 1/4 kandungan di Al-Quran mengisahkan kebangkitan dan keruntuhan tamadun. Ini sejarah. Jadi dalam Al-Quran banyak diceritakan, ya, ayat-ayat yang katakan bagaimana sesebuah tamadun telah bangkit dan juga tamadun telah runtuh. Baik, Rasulullah adalah seorang model yang terunggul, ya, kepimpinan. Beliau mempunyai sifat integriti, sifat amanah, sifat accountability. Itulah satu-satunya pemimpin. Rasulullah mempunyai satu berwibawa, kepimpinan yang berwibawa. Kita tengok seorang lagi ketua masa di tamadun Islam. Seumpamanya Khalifah Umar Abdul Aziz berkata, beliau telah memerintah negara, beliau telah diberi kuasa. Tapi apa yang beliau kata? Aku bukan orang yang paling baik dalam kalangan kamu. Aku orang yang paling berat tanggungjawab dalam kalangan kamu. Jadi, apa yang disifatkan di sini ialah tanggungjawab. The responsibility of being a leader of any society is not an easy task. Ya, because rakyat mempunyai kuasa itu. Saya cuma seorang ketua. Tapi yang rakyatlah yang menentukan masa depan saya. Jadi tanggungjawab seseorang ketua itu amat berat. Jadi ini pembelajaran dari tamadun Islam. Ya. Baik, saya akan teruskan ke kisah keempat. Ini berkenaan dengan seorang petani miskin dan saudagar yang kaya, tetapi beliau suka menipu. Ya, kalau kita kata seorang petani, memang petani orang miskin. Baik, ini satu cerita integriti. Si petani menjual ubi keledek sebanyak 7 kg. Ini satu kejadian yang berlaku di masa lampau. Beliau telah menjual ubi keledek sebanyak 7 kg untuk saudagar itu. Ya. Tetapi apa yang berlaku? Saudagar itu pula kata ini petani ini telah menipu beliau. Ya. Jadi saudagar bawa masalah kepada raja. Tapi raja yang masa itu raja yang adil, jujur, amanah dan akhlak yang mulia. Jadi apakah raja buat seterusnya? Ya, raja memanggil si petani itu dan menceritakan apakah yang berlaku. Jadi si petani berkata, beliau menganggarkan jumlah timbangan ubi keledek dengan timbangan jumlah garam yang dibeli daripada saudagar tersebut. Kerana saudagar tersebut telah menjual garam sebelum itu kepada petani itu. Jadi bila berat timbangan itu tidak sama, maknanya garam yang dijual oleh saudagar itu kepada petani itu memang kurang. Jadi siapa yang menipu di sini? Petani kah ataupun saudagar? Jadi saudagar telah menipu si petani itu apabila beliau menjual garam kepada petani. Jadi dengan itu raja telah murka kerana ditipu oleh saudagar itu. Jadi dengan itu raja telah menjatuhkan hukuman penjara kepada si saudagar itu. Jadi ini adalah satu kejadian yang berlaku pada masa yang lampau. Bagaimana membuat perniagaan. Jangan menipu. Apabila kita buat, kita kena ada integriti. Jangan kita tuduh seseorang itu beliau menipu saya. Padahal kita sendiri kena tengok diri sendiri dulu sebelum kita menuduh orang lain. Baik. Saya akan teruskan pada kisah kelima. Now, this scenario, quality of leadership with integrity. Now, we must have honesty, decency, ethics, authenticity, and uprightness. That is leadership. Yeah, leadership. Now, how does the selection of a new emperor? Yeah. Now, some youth were given seats, and one of them was Ling. Ling was the youth. He also was given seeds to grow. So some of these youth, ya, belia-belia ni telah diberi benih untuk menanam pokok. Dan salah seorang itu adalah bernama Ling. Beliau pun membawa benih-benih ni, and they were trying to grow the plant out of this seed. But what happened? Ling was trying to grow his seed, but he couldn't. He failed. No plants came. Whereas the other friends, they brought back the plants to the king, to the emperor, and they showed, the seed which your highness given to us all grew very well. Now we have got a plant. Whereas Ling brought an empty pot. He showed the empty pot to the emperor. What happened? The emperor knows that the seeds that he has given to the youth were useless. All the seeds were useless. They couldn't grow. So here Ling was upright. Yeah, he was very honest. He was being true to who you are. He doesn't want to cheat. You don't want to lie to the emperor. So what happened? The emperor knows that Ling, being a youngster, he had the decency, he had the honesty, he had the ethics to say that this is what I got. He didn't come and give empty promises to the emperor. So the emperor knew that this youth can be the leader. Yeah. So what I mean here is, keep your promise, your word is very important. Yeah. People are watching you as MCW members. People are watching you. So whatever you say, it must be practiced. Whatever you promise, it must be carried forward. Right? Now let's look at the scenario yang ke-6. This is regarding a very high-ranking captain of a ship who has a very dedicated sailors and crew. The captain, very high-ranking captain. And you must have dedicated sailors and crew for the ship. Now, if one sailor has bad intention, it will be a great disaster for the ship and the entire crew. Why? One bad apple is enough to spoil the whole basket of apples. You can have a good leadership. You can have a good leader. But if your follower, one of the follower, is not following you rightly, then you're in trouble. What does it mean? The citizens have the power. Yeah, you have the power. MCW members have the power. All citizens have the power. Any form of abuse of power, corruption, or bribery to SPRM or MACC. Yeah, it doesn't mean somebody whom you knew, but if you know that somebody is not right, yeah, one of them among you is not right, something going bad intention, then you have every reason to bring up this matter to the authorities. So, friends, whatever said and done, integrity is a practice. Integrity is walking the talk. You can talk, but you have to walk the talk. Action speaks louder than words. So for that, nation comes first. If somebody among the citizen is doing something wrong, then it's our duty, as a good citizen of this country, to bring up that matter to the authorities concerned. Kisah yang ketujuh. Again, we go back to zaman Tamadun, zaman Islam dulu. Ini kisah. Banyak orang, ramai telah mendengar cerita kisah ini. So I will repeat this story. Kisah burung kecil. A small bird. A small bird can do wonders. Yang boleh memadam kebakaran di zaman Nabi Sulaiman. The Islamic era. Memang burung yang kecil terbang ke sungai dan membawa air dalam paruhnya kerana ada kebakaran yang berlaku. Walaupun burung yang kecil, burung itu terbang ke sungai yang berdekatan dan membawa air dalam paruhnya untuk memadamkan api itu. Dan pada masa itu, banyak lagi burung besar, burung yang besar melihat apa yang burung kecil itu membuat. Satu tindakan yang kecil daripada burung yang kecil. Tapi baik daripada melihat burung yang kecil itu tidak mau api itu merebak, jadi menjadi satu kebakaran yang besar. Nanti susah kalau negara. Jadi, walaupun anda seorang yang kecil, anda seorang ahli masyarakat, seumpama seperti burung yang kecil, tetapi anda ada kuasa untuk memadam api kebakaran rasuah. Jadi apa yang berlaku? Diumpamakan kebakaran itu sebagai rasuah. Jadi anda mempunyai kuasa untuk memadam api rasuah itu. Walaupun anda orang yang kecil, tapi itu bukan ceritanya. Jadi anda ada kena melakukan, itulah integriti dalam kisah yang ketujuh ini. Baik. Kisah yang ke-8. Integrity. Now we are going to compare integrity and leadership. Now, an example. What is integrity and what is leadership? There was one very rich man, Al Capone, very famous, but he does a lot of organized crimes, prostitution, murder, and all kind of serious crimes in Chicago, done by Al Capone. I mean, he's on the wanted list. Now, who is his lawyer? He had a very famous lawyer. His name is Easy Eddie, was his lawyer. Now, Easy Eddie knows who is this Al Capone, because Al Capone is a very famous criminal. But this lawyer defended Al Capone so well, and Al Capone became a free man. You know, as a lawyer, now I myself am a lawyer. If I want to defend somebody, I must see whether that my client has got integrity, whether my client is really worthy for me to defend. If I know that my client is wrong, then I got to say in the court to the judge that my client is wrong. But here, Easy Eddie defended Al Capone, protected Al Capone, saying that Al Capone is a good man. Now one day, Easy Eddie's son, he wanted his son to become a good person, but he couldn't. Why? Because the father himself is defending a criminal. The father is defending a criminal. How do you expect your son to follow you? Because your children are following your footsteps. The children are following your footsteps. They are looking at you. They are seeing the way you talk. They are seeing the way your action. So, son also will follow like you. So Eddie Easy Eddie, this lawyer, realized that something is wrong. So he wanted to fix up Al Capone. So one day in a case, Al Capone testified against Easy Eddie testified against Al Capone, saying that Al Capone is a criminal. Now he has changed. Being a lawyer, earlier he defended Al Capone. Now he's going against Al Capone. Now Al Capone being a very high wanted list criminal, do you think he's going to keep quiet? No. One day, Easy Eddie life ended in a gunfire. So friends, when you do good, good things will come to you. But when you do bad, bad things will come to you. This is what we call it. You must have integrity. Lawyers, professionals must have integrity. You want to defend somebody, right from the beginning to the end, you defend properly. It's not that changing sides. Now you defend, later you become a prosecution witness. That is not integrity. So professionals must have integrity. Now, talking about leadership, let's look at scenario number 9. This happened. I'm giving an example of a fighter pilot in World War II. Yeah, in World War II, this fighter pilot, a warrior, his name is Butch O'Hare. Yeah. Now, while on a mission, he was a fighter pilot. He was going on a squadron, flying on a group of planes were flying. At that time, the Japanese was invading. But suddenly, Butch O'Hare noticed that his fuel tank was almost empty, but he was flying. So naturally, he decided to return to the ship. He has to come back to the ship because his fuel tank was going empty. Now, while he was coming back to the ship, as was flying down, as I said earlier, the fuel tank was getting empty. Yeah, it was almost empty. At that time, he saw a Japanese squadron was approaching towards the American fleet, towards the ship. Do you think that Butch O'Hare is frightened? No. He's not worried about his personal safety. But he mounted the guns blazing from his plane, knowing that the enemies are invading, the Japanese enemies are invading. Here at one side, his fuel tank is getting empty, and the enemies are invading. He has got no choice, but he doesn't care for his safety. He mounted his guns blazing over the Japanese squadron. Now, because of that, the Japanese have no choice. They have to withdraw from attacking the American fleet. And finally, Butch O'Hare landed safely on the ship as his plane fuel tank was almost empty. He landed safely. And he was given a heroism award because he was remembered for his heroic act. That is what leadership. Yeah, leadership here means you have to go all out, even for your own safety, even at the detriment of your own safety. If you are safeguarding the nation, the country, you have to go all out. It doesn't matter of your life or your family. You give, nation comes first. So for that, O'Hare is remembered. There's an airport in Chicago, O'Hare Airport, for his heroic leadership. Yeah, because he showed true integrity, true action to safeguard his own squadron. Now, let's proceed to kisah ke-10, yeah, the 10th scenario. Now I'm giving you a one by one scenario. All these are related to integrity. Yeah, all these are lessons for you as members of MCW, so that when you become a penceramah, a lecturer later, or a key communicator, now you have all these examples, yeah, to tell, to share to your fellow audience, to whoever organizations or to our group you are speaking, yeah, you're presenting your speech. Now, let me go back to kisah yang ke-10, the 10th scenario. Now here, you're coming to a game, a tournament, a racquetball tournament. Now, Ruben Gonzalez is a very famous player, yeah, very famous player. Now, in one of the matches, he was playing his final match in a professional racquetball tournament. Yeah, in the final match. It was a final match point, yeah, between him and the opponent. So Ruben made a killer shot. That is the last shot, the killer shot that's going to make Ruben the winner. Ruben knew very well how he shot that ball. Yeah, he knew very well. So referee said it's a good shot. Linesman confirmed the shot, and Ruben was declared the winner. Yeah, but Ruben, being a man of integrity, he disqualified himself and gave the serve to his opponent. He said, because why? Because he said the ball, when he was serving the ball, he served it, he had a technical error. He knew that his serve was not a good serve. There was some technical error in the serve. Even though it was not watched, observed by the referee or the linesman, but Ruben knew that there was some technical issue there in his serve. Even though it's the last serve, he was declared the winner. But no, Ruben said, technically, I made a mistake in that serve, so I will give the ball to the opponent. So opponent gets the ball. Yeah, this is a match. Yeah? This is the last point. It's either you or me. And finally, the opponent won the game. And Ruben said, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Here you find Ruben is a man of integrity. Now, as a sportsman, you find sportsmen of true man of true leadership, man with true integrity. Yeah, they are very open. Winning or losing in any tournament, in any championship, or any game is normal. But the question is, do you have integrity? Ruben was declared the winner. But still, he insisted that the ball should be given to the opponent. So opponent won the match, but Ruben accepted that there was some technical problem in his serve. So he accepted the truth. That is the reality. Yeah. Now, how many of our sportsmen will do that? That is the question of integrity. Yeah. Now, let's go on to the kisah yang ke-11. Now, here, honesty shown by one of the Prime Minister of India. It is many years ago. The Prime Minister is Lal Bahadur Shastri. You want to see how honest is a Prime Minister. When you say Prime Minister, he's the most powerful man in any country. So here, Lal Bahadur Shastri is the Prime Minister of India. Now one day, he wanted to buy some saris. Indians wear saris, Indian ladies. He wanted to buy saris, so he went to a textile mill to get a few saris for his wife. So of course, when a prime minister is coming to a textile mill to look for saris, of course the textile owner will give all the very expensive saris. Definitely he won't give the cheap saris. No. So Lal Bahadur Shastri knew that this is a very expensive saris. Now he requested for cheaper saris. So the owner gave him something to say, something cheaper than the earlier one. But then the price is still expensive. Lal Bahadur said, no, I want some more cheaper saris, not the expensive, cheaper ones. Now then the owner said, sir, I'm not selling this to you. I'm giving this saris as a gift to you. As a gift, because he's the prime minister. So the owner wants to give a very expensive gift to the prime minister. That is obvious. Yeah, because prime ministers are very powerful. But then Lal Bahadur Shastri rejected. He refused the gifts. Yeah, he said, I will buy the saris which I could afford. That means saya mampu membayar. Bila saya mampu membayar, saya akan membayar wang tersebut. Jadi ini bukan soal mahal, tetapi kemampuan anda untuk membeli sesuatu barang itu. So in this case, Lal Shastri Bahadur got something. He paid for his saris, not as a gift. He didn't get as a gift. He paid for it, which he could afford. Now, friends, this is what true integrity is. Yeah, you have to show your integrity. It comes with your leadership, your integrity. People are watching you. As a leader, are you getting expensive gifts from people? Where is your reputation? So this is one example of how a true leader shows his real integrity in the public. Now, kisah yang ke-12. Now, this is, again, we are going back to sports. This time, we are going to a golf player. Now, Bobby Jones, way back, is an American. This happened in 1925, US Boston Open. Yeah, golf. How does Bobby Jones showed his honesty and sportsmanship? Yeah, so we have to show our leadership and our honesty, sportsmanship in any competition in a sports. So in 1925, he was Bobby Jones was a top player. Yeah, he knew that he can win. The game. Again, he admitted, even though in the final stroke of the play, he admitted that he had violated one of the rules. In this case, rule number 18. Yeah, it is in golf. Rule number 18 is moving the ball. That means the ball must be stationary. But if you tend to move the ball forward for your advantage, then you are violating rule 18. This is in golf games. Now, the question here is, Bobby Jones has the power, he had the guts, yeah, to say that he himself violated one of the rules in the golf play. So it is not the winner winning the title. A sportsman must have sportsmanship in him. Winning, as I said, winning or losing is secondary. Menang atau kalah dalam sesuatu permainan, any competition is normal. But what we must show is our true honesty and sportsmanship. So the sport writers, knowing that Bobby Jones is a very famous golf player, They praised him, even though he was not the winner. He didn't grab the winner's title, but they praised him. They praised him in the newspapers, in the write-up, yeah, that Bobby Jones was a man of honesty. So friends, this is again another example of being honest in all aspects. Yeah, in all aspects. You have honesty here is by showing, yeah, by walking the talk. That's where honesty comes. People can judge you whether you're honest or not based on your action. And that action is what we term as integrity. So honesty is part of that integrity. Now, another scenario 30, yeah, 13. Ini also another test on integrity. Yeah. Now, some of the students were chosen, were given a A4 newspaper to draw someone from the crowd. Now, but on condition, you were given a A4 paper and a pencil to draw somebody's face. But as you draw, bila anda melakarkan lukisan itu, seseorang peserta dalam kalangan anda itu, apabila melukis wajah peserta itu, tetapi dengan syarat, jangan tunduk melihat kertas. Jangan tunduk melihat kertas anda dan lukisan yang dilakukan tu. That means you only look at the object and you draw on your A4 paper. Yeah, just draw. Not without looking at the paper, without looking at your paper, but you're looking at the object and you're drawing. Yeah, without having a sight on the paper. Because why? Because when you look, you will correct the mistakes. But here you're only looking at the object. So again, your integrity. That is the test given to all the peserta. You have to draw without looking at the paper. It's not easy, friend. It's easy to be said, but very difficult to follow. Again, integrity. These are all instructions. As teachers, they understand what is this integrity is. Now look at kisah ke-14. The great hero Mahatma Gandhi. Yeah. Now, Mahatma Gandhi, at one time, a mother took her son to Mahatma Gandhi because the son was taking too much of sugar, sweets. So he took to Gandhi. Gandhi said, come back in 2 weeks' time. So the mother took the boy back, and they came back after 2 weeks. 2 weeks' time, and then Mahatma Gandhi said, son, please stop eating sugar. Now the mother was very surprised. She said, why are you saying this? After 2 weeks, you should have said this to my son at my first trip. Only now you're saying. So Gandhi said, you know why? Because I myself was eating sugar. Was eating sugar. So for the last 2 weeks, I stopped eating sugar. So I want to set a good example to others. So before you give advice to other people, now make sure that you yourself follow that advice, follow that rules. You yourself have that habit. So Gandhi made sure that he, a man of honesty, a man of integrity, so he has to follow, he himself must follow that advice for himself. So that is a good leader. Now, kisah yang ke-15. Now, who are you? Give your 100% to everything you do and sleep peacefully. Now, sometimes you don't give 100% to other people. And when you go back home, you feel very guilty and you cannot sleep peacefully. Because why? You have not given your 100% to the other party. Now, integrity is a way of life, not just a behavior. Now, integrity must be practiced at every moment, every day. With any transaction, in any in any society or in any times, integrity comes in. So integrity is 100% with you, and it is with you. You have to follow. Yeah. When you follow, people will follow you. So that integrity comes from you. So that is what we call as integrity. Now we look at, when I say that, now the story of marbles and sweets. Now the boy had marbles, a girl had sweets. They want to exchange. Yeah, the marbles to be given to the girl, and the girl gives sweets. Yes, they exchange. The boy gave he kept all the good marbles, the big marbles, the good ones, but he gave the smaller ones to the girl. Whereas the girl, she gave all the good sweets, the best sweets to the boy. This is how they exchanged. But when he went back, the boy was feeling guilty. He felt guilty because he said he knew that he has given the girl, the marbles were not of good quality. Whereas the girl went back and she slept very well. Because why? She has given all the best sweets to the boy. Now, what I mean here is, in any transaction, in any friendship, in any relationship, you must have sincere relationship, genuine relationship. When you build that relationship, a good one, then people have respect for you. Now this is again integrity. Yeah, practicing good thoughts in the mind, good deeds, good action, good feelings in you. Otherwise you have a lot of guilty feelings. Yeah, so integrity is, again, it also works with relationship, with friendship, with people, how you deal with them. Yeah, be fair to all of them. Now, kisah yang ke-16. Now this is again, we are going to old China now. Now, a man called Tao. Tao ran a dye business. Yeah, he's a very dignified man, very upright man in old China. Now, Tao was cheated by one merchant. When Tao went and bought some items, the merchant gave him some fake items to Tao. So Tao brought back, and of course Tao has to sell. He has to sell to his people the products which he has bought from the merchant, so that he can make profit. Yeah. But then when Tao knew that these products were fake, he said, because he is a man of uprightness, a man of honesty, he said, no, I will never sell fake items to my customers, because he wants to keep his integrity. So what did Tao did? Tao burnt all the fake items. Now, he is not here to make profit. He did not want to cheat others. Yeah, because he is a man of integrity. He is a man of uprightness. He is a man of truthfulness. He doesn't want to cheat his customers. So, because of that, his children, Tao's children, followed the father's footsteps. Because the father, Tao, is a man of integrity. And the children became very successful in business. Friends, your children are watching you. Yeah, your children are watching you. Now, in business, if you cheating customers, your children are watching you. And when they take over your business, they also will cheat. So this will go on and on and on. So the point here is, you have to practice. You have to practice integrity. You got to be honest with your customers. You got to be very straightforward. It's not making profit. Business is not really making profit. Business is building your customer base. People must like you, and more people will come to you. And as more people come to you, you make your profit. Yeah. So never cheat your customers. Yeah. Kisah yang ke-17. Now, integrity and keeping promises. Practice honesty, integrity, and keep promises. Again, in ancient China, there was a man who borrowed money, yeah, and he promised to return the borrowed money in 1 year, but unfortunately he fell critically ill. He felt unable to return the money within the speculated time. He felt very guilty. Oh, I'm unable to return the borrowed sum. He had no cash. But even though he's on the sick bed, he told his wife, let us sell some of our items which is in our house. Let us raise the money and settle the sum, which he did. The wife sold some of the items and they returned the cash to the borrower, to the person they have borrowed the money. They returned the cash within that 1 year, and finally the man who was critically ill was also cured. He became well. He walked out from his sick bed and back to normal. Friends, when you have integrity, your life will be a smooth one. Your life will be a very happy one. Yeah. And whatever disease that comes to you, when you have a good mind, yeah, your disease will be cured. Follow integrity. Kisah yang ke-18. Relationship is the woman. Living a happy life is an understanding of integrity and honesty between married couples. You have to have that relationship between you and the other half. Yeah. Now, at the time of marriage, the woman can be beautiful, but after many years, the woman can become old and ugly. Yeah. So being beauty is only in the skin. But what we want is a beauty in the heart. A beauty in the heart, that means you must have faithfulness, true to each other, to lead a happy, long-lasting, good relationship. So this is also a good advice for married couples. You can be married for long. Your wife can be ugly because she's old, but it doesn't mean that she has got a bad heart. Yeah, the heart is forever clean. The heart is forever young. So you got to build a good relationship with your couple, with your other half. It can be your husband, it can be your wife. You build a good relationship. When you build that relationship, I tell you that marriage will last forever. This is what we call as integrity. Now let me proceed to kisah yang ke-19. Number 19. Now integrity is soundness of moral principles and character, honesty and uprightness. As I've been telling from my earlier, from when I started, these are the things that I'm stressing here. Now what is integritas? It's a Latin word, integritas, wholeness or completeness. This is all started from the Roman Empire. Now in the Roman Empire, the soldier, he wore an armor to protect his chest, his heart. The heart is inside his chest, to protect his heart from what? To protect from sword and arrows. Sword and arrow strikes, because those days there was no such thing as gun. It was all sword, arrows. So they had this very strong armor to protect their heart. So when they had this heart, the soldiers will hit their hammer and they will shout, that he's a warrior. He will shout. The sound that comes from the armor, the sound. Now this is one way of allegiance. That means showing your support to the leader of the nation. Even though you beat your heart, the armor is here. You protect your heart, with the armor. Because why? Your heart is very important. Your heart must be clean. So even though you are a soldier, you can give a warrior's cry in any battle. But what comes first is your integrity. That means a leader, that you as a warrior, you're serving the nation. Yeah, serving the nation. You're not worried about your life. You're worried about the nation. So nation comes first. Yeah. And finally, kisah yang ke-20. Now I'll go back to the 11th President of India, a very, very famous man, His Excellency Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Yeah, Abdul Kalam, very, very famous man, a very man of integrity, very honest man. Now he said one thing. Now he said, a door is smaller than house because house is big. A door is small. A lock is smaller than the door. A lock, yeah, is smaller than the door. But a key is the smallest of all. If you compare the door, the lock, the key is the smallest, but it can open the house. So what does it mean? A door, the door is bigger than the lock, and the lock is bigger than the key. So what does this mean here? Every small thoughtful solutions can solve major problems. So we must respect our father, the main man of the family, the mother, and the teacher. Now, they are the keys for better society. So please, friends, think over all these key points, the 20 scenarios which I've given, all related to integrity, and this must be put into practice by all our members, MCW members, all participants, so that this nation will be a corrupt-free nation. And with that, I wish you all the best. Yeah, and hopefully some of you will become, or all of you will become good lecturers or key, what they call communicators for MCW or SPRM MSCC. Thank you and see you again.